Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Africa in Qatar. This is episode 7 of the AFCON organized show. Remember, AFCON is the African Association of African Scouts and Coaches Association, giving identity and credibility to high-level scouting and coaching in Africa by Africans. Yes, so to join us, you have just go on Twitter, email join@afcon.com, and also you can follow us on Twitter, and as well, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube page, follow and like. Thank you very much. So yes, let me introduce everybody on the show tonight to you guys. First of all, we have Murum from Cameroon. Murum, good afternoon or good evening.
Yeah, good evening. It's a pleasure, Niran, being together once again, talking about football in Africa. And it's once again another pleasure talking about Morocco. Once
Okay,
again, good evening. Good evening to Francis.
Francis, good evening. How are you tonight?
Good evening. I'm well. Hi, Marin. Yes, again, it's a pleasure being on this show once again. It's so different being in the last week of the World Cup, and we can still talk about Africa. So yes, it is a good evening to everyone.
Thank you for that. So just to let everyone know, I'm starting in for the president this afternoon. This evening, sorry, he's in Qatar, so he's doing some maybe media work there or something. But yeah, he had some messages for us, so I'm going to just play that before we begin our show proper for the audience to take a look at.
I'll catch up with you again.
Sorry, that's the end. Let me take it back to the beginning.
Say what you like about what Qatar did on route to winning the bid to host the World Cup of 2022. But this is what it's all about. Yes, it's about football. No, it's not about politics. But I tell you something, it's about enjoying the spectacle that we can put together and make it worthwhile for people like you and I. I've enjoyed every moment of it, every minute of being in Qatar has been absolutely wonderful. And come on, this is it. You know? And when you turn around and look ahead of you as well, it is a spectacle to behold. And it never gets quiet. It never gets quiet. And I'm going to go to the very end where the Lusail Stadium is, where the final of the World Cup is actually going to be played. Will it be Morocco? Will it be France? Who will it be? I wonder. But whoever it
So I also like to play that small message he had earlier. He has other videos where he was talking about the impact Morocco has made in this competition and why it was so. So, but before I play his video, because I need that question, I want to ask Murum, yeah. So although many people have spoken about Morocco, how did they get it right? What did they do? Um, the tactical nose of the coach and everything. But first of all, I want to go to the coach, Murum. The coach, he only joined, I think, 2 months prior to the World Cup, and the former coach was maybe let go. The rumor was that because he wasn't going on well with a star player in Hakim Ziyech. Murum, do you think that if Morocco had maybe gone out in the group stages, their failure would have been blamed on that? But now that it's a success, everybody is saying that that's why they're successful. What do you think about that, Murum?
Yeah, that's true. It is something which was done and which actually worked out, and that is why we could say it's a success. If it did not go through, we will also say it wasn't a success; it was a bad decision. So I think it's a two-way. It's a two-way something. If he succeeded, he has done now. We say it was a good decision. If he didn't succeed, we would have said it was a bad decision. But anyway, what I think is the federation had looked into it. The federation had taken all the necessary dispositions, because it was not just the player alone, which that is Zayich, who had a problem with the coach. There were other players also in the team, because of the fact that the coach wasn't calling Zayich. Those players also were annoyed with the coach, and it wasn't pulling on with those players also. So you see, it made a two camp in the team: those who were for the coach and those who were not for the coach. And with such a spirit, it can go. So the best decision which the federation could take was to put the coach aside, and then bring in a new coach. And we could say the federation succeeded in that, because it is paying out. So if it didn't work, if it didn't happen this way, all the blame would have gone to the federation, that they changed the coach 2 months before the tournament and all of that. But thank God it is working out, and we can say it's a success to the federation, and the federation took the right decision which they had to take.
Yes, that okay. Okay, thank you for that. Francis, I'm going to ask you a different question entirely. We'll talk about Morocco from a tactical point of view. Also, again, what the kind of question I'm asking Morocco. Morocco have been very, very compact in this tournament, very defensive, very making sure that teams cannot get through, get behind them, and or play in between the lines of their midfield and their defense. Um, um, in a European Cup, for example, when Mourinho or Luis Van Gaal, for example, even Luis Van Gaal, is in the past, some managers have been the failure of certain teams have been blamed on being too defensive. Uh, for Morocco, it has worked, but do you think it can be something that they can hold on to and rely on long term?
Well, I think, as a coach, you always set out your stall on how you want to play. Sometimes it looks pretty, and sometimes it looks very boring. For what I can see is that Morocco set out their stall in a way where it suited not just their playing style, but it also suited the tournament and the weather. You've not really seen any team. If you go to the Premiership where you have like Man City, sort of like trying to rush and get the ball back, I don't think anyone could have lasted that long in that heat with that kind of tactic. So the Moroccans have played to their strength. At the end of the day, if people like it or not, well, you tell a Spanish fan that you're going home, and you tell a Moroccan fan that you're staying, but you played boring football. Who do you think would be the more excited of the two? Obviously, the Moroccans. So, to be honest, no, they've just played it according to how on the day it was expected to be played. Well, you look at it, they're the only team who hasn't conceded, as in the opposition has scored. They've scored
Yes,
an
yeah,
own goal, and they've beaten the best. They've beaten the best on that line of getting to the final. They have beaten the best, so it's worked for them. Carry on. I guess they've got France. They'll know exactly how they'll play France. And let's not kid ourselves. All the games they played, they were not comprehensively outplayed. They just chose to have defensive and counter attack, and they played to their strengths. If it works for you,
yes, no, yes, they are. I agree. They were not outplayed. I think it was when you say a team is in control of a game, they were in control of the game.
yeah,
They might not be with the ball, but they definitely control the game because what they wanted to do was what they achieved. That's what they call
yeah,
being in control. When you achieve your intentions, that means you're in control of what you say you want to do. So I
absolutely.
believe they were in control. So you mustn't be in possession to be in control of a game.
No.
You understand? So yeah, so that's a very good one, Francis. Going now to the semifinal to the so let's before we go to semifinal preview. So what are those ingredients, Moro? What are those ingredients that you think have enabled? Because the president said some of those in the video I'll play later, but I want to ask you, what are those ingredients that you think played a part in this success of Morocco? Because because over the past 2-3 years, they started coming back to the forefront of the continental club competitions. I think they are defending champions in both. They have defending champions in both the Champions League and the what's it called?
Confederation Cup.
The
Confederation
Confederations
Cup.
Cup. Also, yeah,
The
also
Chan.
the women, yeah, also the women were successful in the African Women's Championship. So, what is the ingredient? What have they done in or recent years? Although Farid in one of the previous episodes told us things that they've done, but from your own point of view, Murum, what do you think has happened?
I think the first thing which has happened is the fact that their president decided, their federation headed by their president, that is Legja, decided that Morocco should be top in African football. And in taking that decision, certain steps were put into place in order that Morocco should be top in African football. First of all, they started signing partnership with other African nations, making other African nations to come and learn from them. Obviously, that is sort of supremacy that is showing to Africa that you're supreme and others are coming to learn from you. So, it puts you on the top. That was the first thing. The next thing is the development which they started carrying out in their football. The construction of the technical center. I have been there twice and I've seen it. I've seen the job which was done there. The construction of other infrastructures in the country. Thirdly, they have invested a lot in their local league. Most of these players play in their local league when they are already 16, 17. They begin to play in the local league. And the federation or the government supported the federation in investing in the local league. And investing in the local league helped them to develop their football a lot. Where there is no financial strength in a local league, there is no competitiveness and there is no development. They play the local league just because they have to play the local league. That is what you see in sub-Saharan Africa. We play the local league just because we have to play, not because it is competitive, not because we are playing for something. We just play for the name of playing a local league. But you see the league in Morocco or in the Saharan Africa, it is competitive. You can see a player earning a salary up to about $20,000 a month. Can you imagine that? How competitive it can be? And it makes the league to be very much engaged. And that is where you can see a lot of development since the league is very engaged and competitive. And lastly, Morocco has ensured that they have invested in the development of their own national football. They have year-round camp for all their selections. Can you imagine that? They have once every 3 months, they bring all the 15-year-old boys all over the world, especially in Europe. They bring them to Morocco for 2 weeks for a camp. You see, they train those boys for 2 weeks. They make them one, feel Moroccans. 2, develop the system of play of Morocco. 3, they make them to feel that even though they stay abroad, they can still dominate while being an African, even though they stay abroad. So you see, at the female domain, they have a year-round camp for the football, for female football, the under 15, the under 17, the under 23, and the national women team. They have a year-round camp for these teams. So you see, that is what they actually did, which is pulling out results. And these are not things which they started last year. These are not things they started last year. These are things which they started some 5 years back, not just last year. They started more than 5 years back. And you see it is paying out today. So those are some of the things I could cite in to show you from where they are coming from and where they are today and the results which they are having out today. So to me, it's not surprise. To me, it's no doubt. And then again, the national team have believed in themselves. That is the first thing. For the national team, they have believed in themselves. They believed they could make it. They were not going there for another sideshow. They were going there to not only cross the first stage, that is the group stage. I want us to take note of that, because the other countries, Ghana, Cameroon, Tunisia, and Senegal, They went to the World Cup to go past the first stage. That is the problem. Morocco didn't go past the first stage. Morocco went to the World Cup to play the finals, and we see that they are actually going into the semi-finals because of the belief which they had in them, and they knew if other countries can do it, why can Morocco not also do it? And that is why they are where they are today.
Yes, that's obviously very true, very true. And there's one take coming out recently. You know, what we noticed that most of the diaspora players that Morocco, I call them diaspora players. Well, they all these Iwobi, likes of Iwobi and Bolo,
Yeah,
ZH and co. I call them diaspora players. So when
yeah,
those in other countries, you see other countries going to beg these players to play for them, going to make these players play for us, play for us. But in Morocco, it seems different. It seems like because let's look at a player like ZH. Let's assume ZH decides to play for Spain. He will get into the team easily, easily. But he
yeah.
chose sorry, not ZH, Akimi.
Akemi.
Yeah, if Akimi decides to play for Spain, he gets into the team easily. If
Mm-hmm.
Ziyech decides to play for the Netherlands, he will get into the team. So, or
Yeah.
even if not, he will be in the squad. So, what makes it different from other African? For example, Nigerian players, the ones that play for Nigeria, the likes of Iwobi, the likes of Aribo, these guys only play for Nigeria because they cannot actually get into the English national team. But for Morocco, it seems to be a different thing entirely. Akimi said he wanted to play for Morocco. Ziyech, the same thing. I don't know, I think Bono as well. So these players want to play for their country right from the beginning of everything. So what is it different? What do they do in that respect? How is it different from other African nations?
Yeah, I think the difference is the mindset of the federation. You know, the federation doesn't show as if they are begging, as if they lack, because the federation is carrying out a strong developmental program for their national teams. See how many players in the list of the Moroccan team, that were formed in Morocco. There are about 8 of them formed in Morocco. That is from the academies or from the local league. Let's take our own national teams: Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Cameroon. How many players were formed from their local leagues or from their national academies that are playing full time with the national team? You see the difference, and that is where the players now become interested, because if, for example, a 15-year-old boy 5 years ago is being brought for a camp in Morocco 2 weeks and he goes back to Europe, and when he's 17 he comes back, for 3 years he has been coming back to Morocco for a camp, and he's going back to his country of birth, whether Spain, whether Belgium, whether France. You see that the player becomes attached to his nation of origin. The player is no more attached to his country of birth. He becomes attached to his to his country of origin, and that is why it's very easy for him to say that, okay, no, I'm going to play for my country of origin, I'm not going to play for my country of birth, because those are the two things. You either gain nationality by being a country being your country of origin, that is the country of your parents, or a country being your country of birth. And now those players, France, Belgium, Netherlands, are their nations of birth. But Morocco is their country of origin because that's the nation of their parents. So the federation has made the country to be attractive to them. The federation has made it in such a way that we don't have corruption at the level of player call-up. We call up those who merit to be called up, even though we know not all the best players are going to be called, because we might have 1 million best players, but we need just 26 of them. So, but at least the call-ups are very, very objective, and the players themselves know it is objective. You see the issue of Ziyech. The whole nation was saying, no, we need him. And he himself was proving that he could play for his nation, and he's willing to play for his nation, and he didn't need his nation to beg him to come. He was telling his nation, I can play for my nation, but the problem is our coach is not objective. So we need another coach who is objective, because that was his problem. His problem was the coach was not objective, and they saw it. They knew that the expatriates are not going to push them to win the tournament. The expatriates are there for their money. Look at the salary which he was receiving. But he knew a national was going to push them to win the tournament. And you see, finally, they succeeded in their decision, meaning he was right. He didn't have a problem with the coach because maybe his play style, or maybe he had his own reasons why he didn't want the coach and why he wasn't pulling on with the coach. And that is why he said, if the coach is there, he's not coming. He was clear with that. And the federation was forced through the pressure of the population to bend to the population to tell the coach, well, we are sorry. We love you. We want you to work, but we would like you to excuse us for the moment. And when they brought in their new coach, who was first of all a coach who has a lot of experience, he has won the CAF Champions League, he has coached abroad, he has experience with many professional players. And you see, when he came in now, he was able to mobilize the mentality of these players to a focal point. And that focal point was what? Not only going through the group stages of the World Cup, but winning the World Cup. And that is why they are in the finals today.
All right. That's a very, very good point. But before we proceed, let me just play that's your own opinion. Let me now play the opinion of the AFCON president, what he sent to me earlier. So about his opinion about why Morocco are here, where they are, how they got where they are. I also hope the audio will be okay for everybody to hear.
The countries that have, I've always come here on one or two occasions and said success has many children. And the story that played out in Qatar over here, not too far away from where I'm standing right now, is exactly the same. Success indeed has many children. And the success this time is the success story of Morocco. Morocco in the World Cup semi-final. First time an African nation will get to the World Cup final. And don't be surprised, World Cup semi-final, and don't be surprised, they may get to that final. This is the team with the best defensive record in the World Cup. Considered only one goal in 5 games, and that goal was actually scored by their own defender, an own goal. Otherwise, defending solidly. Pride of their own country, pride of the work that they have put together. And now, because success has many children, everybody is laying claim to Morocco. Everybody wants to say Morocco is one of them. Morocco is African. Morocco is Arab. Morocco is from the Middle East. No, it's African. It is Morocco, guys, it's Morocco. They did well for themselves first, before they did well for anybody else. But let's not lose sight of the fact that they started from somewhere. How did that success story of Morocco actually get started? How did they get to a point where most of Africa is not at the moment? I think that's more food for thought for a lot of people. I've received a lot of messages. I've received a lot of calls. People have spoken to me a lot about this issue of Morocco and how they got it so right. How did they get it right? They got it right because they planned. They got it right because they were organized. They got it right because they were head and shoulders above the rest of the continent for many years coming. Go and see their technical center in Rabat. They got FIFA money. They combined it with the government support and built a wonderful technical center in Rabat. A place to die for, a place that players of the national team will go to and really want to give their best and their all for the nation. How many can boast of that in my darling continent of Africa? They have a coach who is a family guy, a guy who knew the mentality of Moroccan players and brought out the best in them. Went and met with the key players, told them how much he needed them, how important they were to him. Then look at their league, the League of Moroccan Football. I mean, what year do you not see a Moroccan team in the latter stages of African championships, like the Champions League or the Confederation Cup. All of these things add to something. It adds to the reason why the success has come. It will come as no surprise to them because they have worked very hard for it. It will come as a surprise to some of us because we're very myopic and we didn't know, we didn't see the handwriting on the wall when we should have done. Morocco is a success story because they worked hard. And we've got to celebrate hard work, but also we've got to borrow a leaf from what they have done in football, management, administration, and all that. When they were signing all those bilateral deals with countries, the lesser countries, trying to help those lesser countries to develop, how much of the development did those guys take to the lesser countries? How much of the development of Moroccan football did they try to go and emulate in other parts of India? Did they just come and have fun in Morocco? We've got people here in Qatar, presidents of football federations in Qatar, watching the semi-finals, watching the quarterfinals. They will watch the final as well, you know, at the weekend. And I can bet you, a lot of them are busy enjoying the good life over here. It's wonderful. Look at that. This is the view from my own hotel, my own modest hotel. You can imagine what it's going to be like at the official team hotel or the FIFA hotels or whatever. Absolute opulence. You don't even want to go there because it's not fair. It's not fair. When people go, when these presidents come, they enjoy the opulence, but they go back to their respective countries, and what do they take back? What do they take back to the countries that they come from in terms of development plan, in terms of what they're going to do for their respective countries so that Morocco, that is head and shoulders above everybody else, we can close that gap, because that gap is growing at the moment. I'll tell you something. Today is about Morocco. We celebrate them. I'm in charge, the founder of the African Football Club. We were determined to come here and support anything African in the World Cup. And I'm proud to say I was here when history was made. But then it will be a waste if we don't go back to the drawing board in Africa and try and mirror what has been achieved in Morocco in other parts of our darling continent, Africa.
So that was it, and it makes a very good point at the end there, Murum, saying that yes, Morocco Morocco has done well, but it's one thing for us to say, oh, we're happy that Morocco has done well because we're also Africans, but it's another thing to actually take something from their achievements. You know, they've achieved something wonderful to be in the semi-final. So let me ask Francis. Yeah. So Morocco has achieved something it's something wonderful in the semi-final. Francis,
Yeah.
to get to semi-final. And as the president said towards that in the end of that video, he said that it's one thing to come and celebrate them and say, oh yes, they've done well for Africa and everything, but are we going to take notes from them, other African nations, especially where the talent is abundant, but we don't live up to expectations in sub-Saharan Africa? Are we taking notes?
Well, I'll be very surprised if we weren't taking note. This feat which Morocco have achieved is something which Ghana should have achieved way like the last 4 years ago, which would have meant that this feat would have been the second time an African nation had reached the semi-final. Excuse me. Everyone knows what needs to be done. Most of the African footballing federation know exactly what to do. Only a fool would say they don't know what to do. We know it's not about money. We know it's more about choosing the right people, the right personnel, not just the players, but the backroom staff. It means getting your house in order as well. I think if you remember one of our previous episodes where I spoke about Morocco having in-house fighting, and that I believe they could get far in the competition if they were to sort that out, which has kind of proved me or was right in a way. They've made it. They've squashed all the problems with Hakim Ziyech and any other player that had a problem with the previous coach. They've learned to work together as one. So if other nations can't see it, I think they'll be very foolish not to. Um, I know we're all jubilating that Morocco have got there, and I don't want to wash the shine off the success which they've made. But I think, to be honest, Africa should have reached there a long time ago. And I think now everyone should sit up and go, right, if Morocco can do it, we can do it. By the next 4 years, what is our plan in place to say, not just one African nation to be there, why can we have two African nations? And then we don't really know what the conclusion of this World Cup will be. Is it the end of the road for Morocco? Is it that they might finish third? Will they finish second? Will they win the competition as a whole? So, to be honest, it's any man's game now. But I think every other African nation should really take on board that it was a process in place. Not they just didn't turn up to the World Cup and expect to get to the semi-finals. No, it was something they put in place years before. And it's like when you go to school, you say you want to be something in life, but you don't just get to the end of your university and think, yeah, that's what you want to be. No, you just started. Some people, it's from primary, secondary, A levels, university, and they accomplish their goals. That's exactly what Morocco has done. So I think a lot of African nations need to go back to the drawing board and think, right, okay, what is it we were doing wrong or what are doing wrong that's prevented us from reaching where Morocco has reached? And then with that, obviously, success will come.
Okay, okay. So now let's move to talk
Niran, please,
about the. Okay, Murum, go ahead.
please, a minute, a minute. I would like to make some comments on the president's video,
Video.
which the
Okay,
the
okay,
audio,
go
the
ahead,
video
no
he made
problem.
to us. Yes, he was on the same line in which I was. But now the comment I
Yes,
want to
exactly.
make is many federations don't go to Morocco. That is this partnership, these conventions which are being signed. Many of these federations don't go to Morocco to learn. That is, let's be sincere, they don't go there to learn. This is why they go there. They go there because Morocco is going to spare them free hotels, which they are not going to spend money. Morocco is going to give them free fields for training, which they are not going to spend money to pay fields. Certain at times, Morocco is going to pay their flights to and from their nation, which is going to spare them some money from spending. That is the interest of these nations. The interest of these nations is not to go and learn what developmental aspects is Morocco carrying out, which is bettering their football. And again, these countries don't realize that Morocco signing this partnership with them also learn from them. There are certain things Morocco also learns from them. One of them is simple: their playing style. What makes them particular in their playing style? Morocco has learned a lot from sub-Saharan football, which is physical. They have learned a lot from it. And how have they learned from it? By always playing friendlies with these countries, inviting these countries to their own country to see how these countries carry out their training sessions. Those are the things which other nations, other African nations don't realize. And we are happy. Oh, Morocco is sparing us from spending. We can keep back some few francs, but not really getting into the developmental aspect of it. And when they come back to their own nation, everything is dead. And they wait for the next time when Morocco is going to call them again to come and have some freebies in Rabat, while Morocco is learning and they are advancing, and we are seeing the results today. As I said earlier, it is not something that started last year. This is something which has been on the pipeline for about 10 years, and we are seeing the results today. And that is what other African nations need to learn from. Results are not gotten at the same moment when we start a project. Result is patience. Result is time. We give a we give a framework, that is, we give a time limit to say, okay, in 5 years, in 4 years, we are hoping to achieve this. But other African nations, they want results today. which is impossible for us to get results today. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you very much for that.
just to add to
Okay,
it, sorry,
go
Nero,
ahead.
to cut. I'm glad what you've said, because you see, Morocco are like the China of today. China started and they weren't where they are today in this industry and tech, and they've used years to build and build. Now, every time you talk about something, whether it's electronics, whether it's cars, whatever it is, you mention China. Morocco have built a similar platform that we all know. When you want to do anything footballing wise, it's Morocco. Well, how's it started? Because they chose that way. So Morocco are very similar to what I would say, like the way China have coordinated their own, their future or foundation of achieving what they want to achieve.
Okay, thank you. So before we proceed, don't forget that this show is brought to you by AFCON, African Football Scouts and Coaches Association. The association is giving identity and credibility to high-level scouting and coaching in Africa by Africans. To join AFCON, just send an email to join@afcon.com. If you're a coach or a scout, it's absolutely free to join. Also, you can follow on social media pages, Twitter at AFCON. Yeah, so that's it. Also, those who guys subscribe to the YouTube page at the AFCON YouTube page. This one, subscribe and like this video. Thank you very much. Also, you can also leave your comments and share this to anybody that you think would benefit from it. So let's progress further now. Let me start with you, Francis. Where will Morocco finish in this tournament? Now they've gone to semifinal. What next? Where would they finish in this tournament?
To be honest, it's an answer I don't think anyone can really give. I mean, we can say, oh, Morocco will get to the final, oh, Morocco will finish in the semi-final, oh, Morocco will win. I think now it's just anybody predicting, and then if it happens, you go, oh, yeah, I was right. I always look at it on the day itself. I don't believe that Morocco can't get to the final, because they have beaten, I would consider, the best. The only two they haven't beaten are Brazil and Argentina. Who knows what could have happened if they had gone along that way? But if you've beaten Spain and you've beaten Belgium, and then
And
everyone's rating
Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah, but Portugal, everyone's rating Portugal. They're only rating Portugal because of Ronaldo. If you took Ronaldo out, I'm sure most people wouldn't really rate Portugal. But
No,
they have,
no, 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 no.
no,
No, Francis,
I
sorry,
think they've
Francis, sorry. I think
convinced us.
Portugal. I think
Yeah,
Portugal have a strong team. I think they have
yeah,
a very, very strong team. They have a lot of creativity. They have Cancelo. They have players in Man City, players at the top clubs, Manchester United, the top clubs all over Europe. So it's a
yeah.
very, very strong team. The Portuguese team. Let's not
But
underrate them.
if you put Belgium and Portugal, you be honest, who would you pick?
I think Portugal has a better team than Belgium.
You'd pick
Belgium
Portugal.
only have Portugal, yeah, because Belgium
They've
have
got,
only got De Bruyne. De Bruyne as a
no,
world class player
they've
there.
got De Bruyne, they've got Hazard, they've got Lukaku, they've got the
No,
goalkeeper.
no, no, no,
They've
no,
got
no.
an array of players. They're the
The likes
golden
the likes
generation.
of the likes of yes, that but this is the end of them. The likes of Lukaku are no longer in form. Hazard is no longer in form. These are players that are past their prime. For Portugal, we're talking about players in their prime. We're talking about people like Vitinha in his prime, Bruno Fernandes in his prime, Goncalo Ramos in his prime, Joao Felix in his prime, Rafael Leao in his prime, Ruben Diaz in his prime, Joao Cancelo in his prime, the Man United right back, what's his name? I've forgotten it. He's also in his prime. So they have a
Okay.
lot of players in their prime in that team. But for Belgium, it was a case of players are now reaching Vertonghen, twilight, Bamalin in his twilight, Lukaku out of form, Hazard out of form for almost 3 years. So it's only the goalkeeper and Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, we can say that, but really and truly, on paper, if you looked at it, you would really have said, oh, Belgium. Everyone did say Belgium. Regardless of what you say, they are still the number 2 club national team in the world.
Yes,
Regardless of
FIFA
how you look
ranking,
at it,
yeah,
they are
yeah,
number 2. So if you look at
yeah,
rankings, they have done well. So when it comes to Morocco, like I always say to people, you take it game by game.
of
And
course.
that's been, sorry, the downfall with England. You've already made T-shirts. I hear they made 18,000 T-shirts. The cup is coming home. Now, You take it game by game. And that's what Morocco have done. Where will they
You know,
finish? I really don't know.
you know,
You know,
the English, the English are very proud. You guys
you
are
got
very
you
proud.
you got to be proud. You got to believe in yourself. But there's being proud and there's being foolish. You know,
Okay,
there's being proud and there's
okay.
being foolish.
So okay, so you believe that you should take a game one game at a time, which is absolutely correct. But for the game tomorrow, Muru, for the game tomorrow, how do you see it going?
Is that me
I
or
pity
Tuneri?
Morocco.
Muru,
I pity Morocco. I pity Morocco. Not that they are going to lose the game, but for the fact that you see most of their players being injured and most of their players being wearing out because of the psychological pressure of the tournament. You saw the last game against Spain. They had about 2, 3 players that went out. You saw the captain who went out because you had the captain
Ram,
who went out because of injury, cramps. You had a second player went out because of cramp. So you see, it is something which is going to play on them in the next game. But when you look at the French team, you still have the full attack line, which is there very solid and ready for the next game. But all the same, it's still a game which is going to be played, and I believe they are going to come back stronger. They have had enough time for recuperation. The players have rested enough, and I think now it is going to be an issue again of of of, of psychological. How do I put it? Uh, 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 Psychological strength. It's not going to be
Yes.
played on the field, as you see. Morocco has won most of their game because of the psychological strength which they have. They believe all of them are one, all of them are the same. They believe all of them could play as one man, not Ziyech being a super player or the left back being a super player, but they believe
Yeah.
all of them are one and they are going into a battlefield and they need to fight as one man. So I think that's the psychological strength which Morocco had. And if they have same psychological strength against France, I see us again pulling up and pulling on ourselves into a 0-0 and moving up to some other penalty kicks. I pray those players who were out because of injury have recovered and they have gotten their full strength, their full capacity, and they are going to be capable of coming into this game with a strong psychology. Because at the level of World Cup, at top games, that is what you need. You just need a strong psychology, which many other African nations have missed out. They have lacked this strong psychology, which has pushed them or propelled them to go forward. You know, their aim. Look at Senegal. Look at their quarter final, their 16 final match. It was, oh, we have gone out of the group stage, and we have won. It's ended. The psychology ended there, but which they needed some other psychological strength to propel them to the next stage, and that is what Morocco had. So I pray that they remain in the same like manner, in the same psychological situation, which can push them to go above France. But Niran, I will not tell you a lie. If you look at that France team, they are at their top level. To be sincere, they are at their top level. Look at from the midfield to the attack. You see, everybody is a working machine. Everybody is a working machine. So it is going to take Morocco another strong psychological strength to overcome France. And you know, France going into the semi-finals, they are very, very motivated. They are very, very motivated, knowing that, oh, we can go back to back. So you see, it is something which is very, very tricky. The French people coming in with a lot of confidence that we can go in back to back. And Morocco, as an African side, coming in for Africa, going into that stage for the first time, it's not an excitement to them now, but it is a situation of, oh, we can make the finals. If we can go to the semis, we can make the finals. So you see, it is going to be a very tough and solid game which we are going to have tomorrow.
Yes, I agree with you, especially with that when you pointed out about the strength of the French national team. That is a rock solid team. They can give you to you anyhow you want it. You want to play a technical game, you have the players for a technical game. You want to play a physical game, you have the players for a physical game. And as you said, you want to play a psychological game, you also have the players for a psychological game because these are players who play in teams where they fight for trophies week in, week out. They fight, there are some teams you play for. For example, you play for Real Madrid. It's different from playing for a team that fights relegation or just a mid-table team in the league. They play for teams who, when they play in a week and they draw, it's not enough. They take nothing less than winning. The likes of AC Milan, Giroud, the likes of Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these teams. Those are the kind of teams that teach you to win football matches in the hardest situation that is possible. And France have all these things are plenty. They have them at plenty. Francis, Moro makes a point. Do you think Morocco can cope with that psychological edge and winning mentality that the French will bring into the field on tomorrow?
Absolutely. Morocco have proved if you're mentally strong and you mentally believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. As much as France, you've raised so many good points about France having this and having that. But to be honest, what would have happened if Harry Kane had put his penalty away? And to be honest, I don't think England played too bad, but the French were fortunate in their ways and they got the result done. If it had gone 2-0, what would have happened? So
that's the winning mentality we're talking
that's
about.
That's the winning mentality. So I don't really, when I look at it, and I always look at it from my own personal perspective of when I'm playing against a team, how do I see that team? I don't think they're any better than me, regardless of the names or the clubs they play for. And even when I started my coaching, I made my players realize that, look, it's 11v11 on that pitch. And it's the only other person there is the ref. Sometimes it's a psychological way. You know how to play where you could even get the ref on your side. And then sometimes you play where you get the ref against you. So there's so many ways which you have to play football. And I don't really, to be honest, like I've said from the onset, I don't see any team being better than all the other teams. We have star names, that's fine. We have players who can do wonderful things, have magical moments, that's correct. But to be honest, all teams for me look like they're on a level playing field. Saudi Arabia showed it. Canada almost pulled off a shock. They did it. Cameroon beat Brazil. Tunisia went out on a good note. So it was a level playing field. To be honest, I just think Morocco can do it. It's game by game. And one thing I like about them, and I've said it time and time again, is that there's a bond. Even after the victory, you see the way they bond together. When they come out, there's that bond. I think a lot of the times in football, when you have a good bond in a team, you believe in yourselves. The coach may not even be, we're all talking about this coach, but is he really the best? Maybe not. But the players believe in him. And they also, when they go on and when they cross that white line, they believe, look, we're representing certain continents or religions or whatever that's them. That's the self-belief which they carry when they go on the pitch. So for me, against France, yeah, okay, they're good. But we said that against Spain. Look what happened. We said that against Belgium. Look what happened. On the day, we'll see.
Okay, that's true. On the day, we have to wait. We have to wait till the day before we know what will happen. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the other semi-final now. Taking place in this evening tonight in about 12 hours from now. Murum, Croatia versus Argentina. The Croatians have almost been like the Moroccans in this competition. They've shown resilience. They've shown ability to go the distance. If you want to play 120 minutes, they are there for you, plus penalties and everything. They've shown that. And they've shown that fight, that mental, psychological fight that you talked about earlier. Do you think they can beat the Argentines and Messi tomorrow, or what do you think about that match? How do you think it will go? And also, who do you think is a better opponent for, in case, assuming Morocco make the final? You're on mute, Moro.
Yeah. From the books, Brazil was the best, and I did not even I didn't even see Croatia pulling up to extra time with Brazil. I did not see that.
I'm
But
telling you
to my
that was
greatest
a surprise. It
surprise,
surprises us. Yeah.
to my greatest surprise, that happened. But let's take note that it's not the first time Croatia is surprising the world in with such performance. So to me, Croatia is not new. They have done that before, and they are pulling on that again for a second time. I think as we have been talking concerning the other nations, it's the mental capability of the various teams. Croatia, Argentina is also going to be a trickish one. I fear for the fact that at this level, that's the same thing which I told you, which I fear for Morocco, the physical way out, because of the psychological pressure and the psychological force which have been put in, might not affect the team. But if you take an Argentina team that has been playing with much more lesser physical strength, and they have been playing with their name. Why do I say with their name? You see, because when a team comes, it's Argentina, Messi is on the field, the opponent has a lot of psychological stress to overcome because Messi is on the field. But Messi doesn't have the psychological stress to overcome because he knows it's Messi and it's on the field. So you see, that is the things which come into play. So Croatia, Argentina, it's going to be a more again psychological game at this level. And if Croatia maintain their compact block as they did during the Brazil game, you're going to see that it's going to be very, very easy for them to go through. And you know, these big teams, is very easy for them to be for the team to become frustrated around the 70th minute when it's still 0-0. Like you see Brazil, they become very, very frustrated. And now you see they go out of play. But again, you still need that one. They still have that one player that can cause a magic on the field. Look at what
Neymar.
Neymar did at the 80. Yes,
Us.
look at what he did during extra time,
Extremely
and he
brilliant.
could bring
Very
his team
brilliant.
back.
Yeah.
Messi can still come up at any time with such an attitude, and you know, to bring back his team into the game and all of that. But those teams become very easily frustrated when they find themselves still pulling on with a team they believe on the books they are above the team, because on the books we will say Argentina is already in the finals. That's what we are going to say on the books. But now on the field is a different ball game. On the field is not what we say with our mouth. It's not what we feel. It's not what we like. It's not what we want to see. But it's the reality on the field, and it's a mental battle on the field. So I think Croatia, Argentina, me personally, I might say Argentina has a slight upper hand above Croatia. But again, anything can happen on the field. But I see Argentina going through to the finals. From the way they started the tournament, I see Argentina going through into the finals.
Okay, so it's second question I asked now. So they said in terms of in case Morocco was to make the final, who would you like them to face?
If Morocco is to make the final, I prefer them to meet Argentina.
Okay, Francis, what about you?
Because Croatia is going to be a very top one.
Yes, I know. I agree with you on that as well. Francis, what about you?
I personally would go the other way. I'd prefer Croatia. I think the Argentines will be a bit more smarter, seeing what's happened to all the other teams, and they really know how to use the black art of football. So I'd rather Croatia. I think Croatia will come out even Stevens, but I think Argentina would. They always have that little dodgy side that they can pull off. So I'd prefer Croatia rather than Argentina.
Okay, Murum, sorry, let me go back. Let me go back a bit. Murum, you said something earlier about the opposition maybe feeling the pressure when they see a big name player on the pitch like Messi. You understand? But do you think also it could be in some cases it could be the other way? For example, I would like to think that Messi has a lot of weight on his shoulders. You know, because now no, when Argentina are playing, everybody looks up to Messi. Messi must be the one to do it. And if they don't we do it, Messi is the one that takes the blame as well. So do you think that as well will weigh on Messi's mind? Because me, I always feel, especially when it gets to crunch time like this, I always like to be the underdog. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't
it's
think
always
so.
good. Okay, go ahead. Finish. Continue. Tell us why. Tell us why.
I don't think so. I don't think so because Messi is used to that. He has played top games. You see, even in Paris Saint-Germain, the population is counting on him. The fans are counting on him. But you see, he has been used to that. So to him, it's no new pressure. Yeah, to him, it's no new pressure. To him, it's something which he has been used to. He has been doing it all his football career. While in Barcelona, he has been doing that. This is not the first time Argentina is pulling out from the World Cup in a funny manner. And Messi, everybody, Messi in the Copa America, same issue. Finally, he succeeded in winning the Copa America, and everybody was lifting up Messi. And now he's about winning the World Cup, and he wants to win the World Cup because that is his dream as a captain of the Argentina national team. So to me, it's no pressure to him. It's no pressure to him. He takes it like any other pressure which he has been having with the various teams in which he has been playing. He is used to that. He's used to top level competitions, and that is where he has an upper hand over most of the players of Croatia. Even though Modric also has been used to such pressures, he has also been in top teams, facing top difficult games and losing at top level. So it's something which he has been used to, and I think it's not going to be some super pressure on him today during their game.
Okay. So let me just take your takes on your opinions on this. Who has been the best goalkeeper so far in this tournament? Is it Yasin Bono? Well, for me, I have two clear favorites for the best goalkeeper: Yasin Bono, the Morocco guy, and the Croatian goalkeeper who put in a masterclass against Brazil. Probably the reason why they were able to beat Brazil, Livakovic. So, Francis, who do you think was or your opinion? Those are my own two, but who your opinion is the best goalkeeper so far in the tournament?
I'm in complete agreement with you. I mean, there is no. We're talking about the Croatian goalkeeper, but if you look at the saves that Moroccan keeper has made, he has kept that team in where they are now. And I can bet anything on you. He is going to win the goalkeeper of the tournament, regardless of the result tomorrow. He is going to win the goalkeeper. The only thing that can make him lose is if Croatia win the World Cup. But even winning the World Cup, I mean, the Croatian goalkeeper has only probably had about 2 good games where he's really done it. This guy has pulled Morocco through group stage to where they are now. Unless they rig this one, my money 100% is on the Moroccan goalkeeper. He makes that team of the World Cup, undoubtedly.
Okay. Murum, do you agree with that?
I agree with that perfectly well. Niran, have you noticed the number one motivational factor of the Moroccan national team is their goalkeeper? He's the one who always sets the ball rolling in the team because he starts by doing an exceptional save that brings back the whole team into their physical strength. When your goalkeeper is capable of making the players feel we are safe, because that is the problem. When the players play in the field, they are not afraid of making mistakes because they know they have a safe hand. And if the players are afraid of making mistakes because they know they don't have a safe hand, that is where the danger comes in. But the players are not afraid of making mistakes because they know they have a safe hand. They are sure their goalkeeper is going to bail them out. You can see how many times during the Spain game, you can see the miraculous saves he did. And look at all times he does a save. Look at the reaction of his players. That's what I want us to notice. That's why I say the goalkeeper has been the number one motivational factor of the team. Even the coach, when he saves, the camera goes to the coach, and you look at the coach's reaction, and you see that the team, they don't panic when he goes to the pole. They don't panic. They know they have a safe hand. So to me, as Francis has said, I think except at times this our voting for best players, best goalkeepers are very, very funny. At times you can see they tell you the Brazilian, the Argentinian goalkeeper is the best goalkeeper, or because because Igor Lloris is in finals, is the best goalkeeper. At times our voting is very, very funny. But to me personally, I rate the Moroccan goalkeeper first and then followed by the Croatian goalkeeper, because you see how the Croatian goalkeeper also helped them come through Brazil. It was very, very excellent. And again, he has not conceded as compared to the other goalkeepers. And we come back to the fact that the Moroccan goalkeeper has conceded just a goal. Let's take note of that. He has
And it was
conceded
an
just
own
a goal.
goal.
For how many matches? For how many matches? For playing
That's 5 matches now.
5 top matches, 5 not simple matches, 5 top matches against Belgium, against
Spain,
Spain, against
Portugal.
Portugal, and then you don't conceive a goal. So I think to me, in the tournament, he's the best. There's no doubt, there's no argument for it. But again, as I have said, our voting at times is very, very funny.
How about in defense? I think in defense, Hakimi has done well. From my African point of view, Hakimi, those three, have maybe even Mazraoui, the back four of Morocco have been excellent. Mazraoui at left back, Hakimi at right back, then Saiss and Aguerd down the middle. They've done exceptionally well. But who would you say has been the best defender in the competition for you? I think it's one from Morocco. For me, I will go with Mazraoui.
Well, yeah.
Defensively, I think it could go to anyone. I think the Dutch have had some good defenders as well. I really could say. I think they've been average. I don't think I've seen an exceptional defender in this tournament. You know, I think it would either have to be between the Moroccans or probably the Dutch. I mean, the Dutch right back to Fries. I think he seems to be one of he's good. He's been up and down.
Dumfries has done well.
Yeah, I don't really think anyone else has kind of excelled in the ways where you normally have it. I mean, if you remember when Italy won the World Cup and you had Fabio Cannavaro, I mean, you know, someone at 5'10", marshalling as a centre back and then winning the cup, he was a standout performer. I really don't think anyone else. I mean, I think the only thing you can probably talk about is probably the goalkeepers and the midfield. And if it's midfield, he's got to be the Moroccan captain. You know, I think Morocco will have at least 2 or 3 players in that final World Cup team. You know?
Team, of course, the one players. But Murum, sorry, Master, I disagree with you somewhere there. But let me ask Murum for specifically. For me, I look at the Morocco team. Yeah, I don't think you can have a good defense without perfect defending. We talk about how Morocco has only considered 1 goal and it was an own goal. That cannot be achieved for me without quality defending, especially at this level, on a World Cup level. Murum, what do you think? So, do you think any Moroccan players play well?
I agree with Francis. I agree with Francis Niran. Look at this. If you don't have a perfect midfield, you have a porous defense. To be sincere,
of course,
it is the midfield of the Moroccan team that is the machinery of the team. You see that if you count the saves which the goalkeeper is making, then you can understand that the midfield is important. Because the goalkeeper is doing those saves. Imagine those goals were entering. You will not say Morocco has a good defense. It is because the goalkeeper is doing the saves. That is why we can commend the defense today. But if the goalkeeper wasn't doing those saves, we would not say that Morocco has an excellent defense. That's why I'm going to agree with Francis. But again, take a look at the French defense. Let's take a look at the French defense. I rate a defense through the number of saves which the goalkeeper is doing. Because when the goalkeeper has less saves to do, it means they have a perfect defense, meaning the balls don't go to the pole. But when the balls go to the pole and the goalkeeper has more saves to do, it means there is an issue also with the defense. So I think for me, when I look at the French defense line, the French don't really have a solid midfield. But if you look at the number of saves which the goalkeeper, Igor Lloris, is supposed to do, at times he finishes a game without even having 2 or 3 saves to do. Hey, let's be sincere with that. If you look at it, to show you that the balls don't even get to the goalkeeper. The defense is there to sweep out, to clear out, to ensure that doesn't happen. So to me, I look at the French defense as a defense which has really been not that outstanding, but have been doing a tremendous work during their games. Because if you look at their midfield, they have young, talented midfielders who are not the like of Kolo Kante, who are not the like of Claude Makelele, you understand what I'm talking about. But they too are pushing themselves and they are proving themselves. But the defense is proving very, very, very mature. That is how I can rate it. The Moroccan defense is good, it's true. They are not conceding, which is a good thing. But to me, I look at the goalkeeper, who is actually the backbone of the team and not really the defense line. And Morocco has a very, very solid midfield. Let's be sincere with that. The midfield is always there to aid the defenders. They are always there. They play compact. They play compact for 90 minutes. You don't see the midfield detaching from the defense. They are always there. You always have 6, 7 players along defending at the same time throughout the whole game. So it's not left only for the defense. But there are some nations where the midfield become tired because of the defense are exposed, and then you begin to see the goals which are coming in. So that's how I rate it. I accept with Francis that we haven't really had some extraordinary defending as we saw in some other editions, but at least I think the French defense, for me, has showed some sort of maturity. And what can I say? Yes, the Dutch also, I think I saw that also with the Dutch, but unfortunately they are out. But they prove a lot of maturity. So I think that is how I can rate it.
Okay. So we're already across our 1 hour mark now. So I'm about to end the show now. So I'll just ask for you, who has been the best player so far? Murum, you go first.
To me, the Moroccan captain has been exceptional. He has been exceptional. He has not only been a captain, but on the field and off the field, he has been exceptional. To me, I think I can rate him as one of the best.
Morocco captain is Roman Saiz, right? Roman Saiz is the defender. Is he the captain? Saiz
is a captain.
So Saiz is the defender. But you said that there's no quality defender in the team. Now you say Saiz is the best player in the tournament.
No. Wait.
Yes.
Go on, Murray.
Yeah, Francis, move on, Francis.
No, go ahead.
Oh, Murum, go ahead.
Yes, it's true. It's true. We said we haven't, but you see, when we talk of best player, we don't talk of best player in terms of, whether scoring goals, in terms of dribbling. We talk of best player in terms of, I saw some quality in him. I saw some leadership in him. I saw him, not giving up. And I saw him at every move. He lost very few duels during the whole World Cup, which I watched, as compared, even though I didn't watch all the games, was compared to the games which I watched. We're thinking of Messi. Messi has just been the player who has, in a stroke, bam, he has done something which has changed the game. Neymar, the same. He has just done something which has changed the game. But when we talk of consistency, I think the Moroccan captain has been a player who has been me.
I think okay, Francis, I'm thinking you agree with that, right?
Yeah, I'm actually. Saiz has been good. I'm going with Amrabat, the number 4. That's what I'm going.
Amrabat is one of my best players in the tournament.
Yeah,
he's not my best player in the tournament, but he's one of my best. I'll put him in top 3. He has been exceptional.
Amrabat,
his ball retention, holding the ball under pressure in tight situations. He just finds a way out of those pressure. I've been in love with Amrabat. I'm happy with that. But my own best player, I'll put it for me, he's not a Moroccan player. He's not an African player. He's to be honest, it's Messi, because when you change a game, when you do things that make your team win a game, to me those are the extra. You don't have to play well in every moment, but the fact you are doing those important things that will win the game for your team, those are the things that we need. That's that makes for me because that's a player the best. So I'll say it's Messi. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you very much, Francis, a football coach, scout, agent, and administrator. Thank you for being on the show. And Murum, I don't know much about Murum. I know Murum is Cameroonian.
No, I was a football coach between 2012 and 2016. I left it for football management because I'm sorry to say it, but the coaching job is I don't know how I can put it. It's a very, very ungrateful job. You do your best, you do everything, but nobody sees what you're doing. And the only benefit or the only reward you have is insults. That's the only reward and benefit you have. So I'm a football manager. Today, I'm a sports manager, the director general of African Sports Management. a sports firm that deals in international friendly organization, in an international friendly organization, in the football camps, in player and coach management. That is what the firm does. Like for example, I'm going to carry out a preparation camp with some African nations that are going to be taking part in the Chan in January, from January 13. In Algeria, we are going to be having some preparation camps and friendly games in Tunisia, between Monastir and Sousse. So that is where the teams are going to come. So that is what I am involved in. But I'm very, very much involved in youth football development, because I'm also a board member of an early club in Cameroon. We play early 2 level. So I am well much involved in football, and my life is football.
Thank you. That's good to hear. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Thank you, Francis. Hopefully, we will see you guys after the semi-final, celebrating and with smiles on our faces that Africa has had the finalist. Goodbye. Have a lovely next few days. Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. It was a pleasure.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Miran. Take
Yeah,
care.
bye.